Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping straight into a major political shakeup in South Korea today.
Absolutely. Right before the presidential election registration deadline.
Exactly. The People Power Party swapped out their own nominee, Kim Moon-soo, for an independent Han Duck-soo. This was just before June 3rd.
A really last-minute change.
Yeah, and we're digging into reports here from KBS News, Hankyor, Yonhap News TV, Dong Ilbo, all dated around May 10th, 2025.
Right, trying to piece together the timeline and the reasoning.
And the reactions, definitely. So our goal here is to unpack how this all went down, why the party says they did it, and what everyone else is saying about it.
Okay, so the timeline seems crucial. It looks like talks between Kim Moon-soo and Han Duck-soo about, a unified ticket. They fell apart on May 9th.
Okay, so negotiations failed, then what?
Then things moved incredibly fast. We're talking to the early hours of May 10th. The People Power Party's Emergency Leadership Committee and their Election Management Committee held meetings.
At the same time.
At the same time. Very unusual. And the outcome was pretty dramatic.
I bet. What did they decide?
They voted basically to cancel Kim Moon-soo's nomination. Just like that.
Wow.
And not only that, but they also approved bringing Han Duck-soo into the party and registering him as the new candidate, all in one go.
So he wasn't even a party member before that moment.
Apparently joined formally early that morning, May 10th, according to Dong Ilbo. Then the party immediately announced a plan for a party-wide vote to sort of confirm the switch.
Like a rubber stamp.
Kind of seemed that way, yeah. With the final nod from the National Committee set for the next day, May 11th.
Okay, that is incredibly swift. So what was the official reason? How did the People Power Party justify such a, well, drastic move?
Their main line was pointing back to an earlier party vote. They said there was really strong support, like 87% for unifying behind one candidate before the deadline.
Oh, so they had prior backing for the idea of unification.
Exactly. And they used a specific party rule, Article 74, Clause 2, citing this desire for unification as a significant reason to make the change.
Significant reason. What else?
They also mentioned polls. Apparently, they ran some on May 8th and 9th, half party members, half public opinion.
And those polls favored Han?
That's what they indicated, yes. That Han Duck-soo was maybe the more viable candidate.
Right. And the election committee chair, Lee Yang-soo, he just announced it based on that.
Pretty much. Announced Han's registration was going ahead according to their rules. And interestingly, another figure, Kwon Young-si, used this striking phrase.
Oh, yeah.
He described dropping Kim Moon-soo as cutting off the head of a running horse.
Oof. What does that imply?
It's an idiom suggesting, a really painful decision, maybe even sacrificing something valuable, but one they felt was absolutely necessary for the bigger goal.
Cutting off the head of a running horse. That really paints a picture.
Yeah.
So how did the horse, Kim Moon-soo, react?
Not well, as you'd expect. He was furious.
I can imagine.
Called it a political coup at night. Said party democracy was basically dead.
Strong words. Did he threaten action?
Absolutely. Vowed to take legal action, political action against everyone involved. He argued the emergency committee didn't even have the power to do this.
So he's saying the whole process was illegitimate.
Completely.
Right.
Illegal, invalid from the start.
Yeah.
And get this, he was actually planning to go register himself that very morning.
Wow. He was blindsided.
Seems that way.
Okay, so that's Kim's take. What about other political reactions? The opposition, for instance.
Oh, the Democratic Party went hard. Their spokesperson, Hwang Jung-ge, called it straight-up robbery.
Robbery.
Yeah, robbing the candidate slot. Accused the PPP of basically handing it over as a tribute to a Yoon Suk-yeol proxy. They even said the party should just dissolve.
They didn't mince words.
Not at all. Called the whole nomination process a fraudulent primary that ended in a presidential coup. Really strong language.
And was it just the opposition? What about others within the People Power Party?
No, even some of their own primary contenders weren't happy. Ahn Cheol-soo called it a coup d'état faux, like an over-the-top chaotic soap opera drama.
A makjong drama.
And Hong Joon-pyo apparently made some sarcastic comments too. So definitely internal dissent as well.
Okay, widespread criticism then. How did Han Duck-soo's own team frame this? They were the beneficiaries after all.
Yeah, his camp tried to frame it as just, part of the unification process. Their spokesperson, Lee Jong-hyun, basically said, well, if you want unification, the original candidate sometimes has to step aside. It's inherent.
So a necessary casualty of unification, in their view.
That seems to be the line. And Han Duck-soo himself, when he joined the party, he made a point of saying he wasn't some hired gun, a mercenary.
Ah, addressing potential criticism there.
Right. He emphasized he'd been working alongside the People Power Party folks against the opposition for the past 3 years, called for unity, to win the election, said they needed to overcome differences for the country.
So he's appealing for everyone to get on board now.
Pretty much. Focus on winning.
So, wrapping this up, it's a really stark contrast. You have the People Power Party saying, look, this was tough, but necessary for unity and victory.
Right, the cutting off the horse's head argument.
Yeah. And then on the other side, you have Kim Moon-soo, the Democrats, even some within the PPP, calling it undemocratic, a coup, a robbery.
Exactly. A fundamental disagreement about the legitimacy and wisdom of the process itself.
It's definitely an unprecedented move this close to the election. It really makes you wonder about party dynamics, how candidates are truly chosen, and what this signals about the political climate heading into June 3rd.
It certainly throws a lot of uncertainty into the mix.
Definitely something for you to think about after this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.